So my name is Kristen Oliver, and I am the Executive Vice President and Chief Human Resource Officer for Chico's FAS, and I have responsibility for all aspects of the HR function as well as corporate communications. I got to speak during the first day of our presentation here, our conference, and my topic really was about the use of analytics and how an analytics and HR analytics team can help the CHRO make their case for programs that they're trying to sponsor. And the second point really was about how CHROs have got to fight for resources like everyone else in this day and age, and the use of data and also finding projects that serve multiple purposes is helpful in making your points and getting support for your initiatives. Talking about analytics from an HR perspective has been a topic for a long time, but my sense is that we haven't made as much progress here as we really should have. Lots of heads of HR are still struggling with how to get resources and funding for an analytics team, and who to recruit, what does the talent look like. And I think one of the things I tried to do in my speech and in the conversations I had later was give people an idea of how to get started on that, and really how to make an ROI and a value proposition argument for building an analytics team. What I found is the data that they produce and the information they give us in terms of things we haven't had before, like statistics on turnover, the cost of turnover. It's not hard to make a case to show value, and my advice would be to start small. So just bring one person in and have them help you show the kind of value that they can add, and then build from there. You would see industrial engineers and IO psychologists hired on your core team, but so far analytics has stayed sort of separate. So the statistician usually has an analytics specific job, and it's not you're looking for a person to lead talent management that has a stat background. At least that has been my experience so far, that it's still sort of an isolated, incubated function of your statisticians in HR at this point. I would say that the closer to the CHRO that you can get your analytics person, the better. So burying that function underneath one of the head of HR's direct reports isn't always a good idea, because the data that they produce, it's easy to distill it and to sort of homogenize it, and when that happens, you lose the value. So my advice would be bring in one person, have them report directly to you as the head of HR, and start seeing the value that you can add, that person can add pretty immediately. And then later on, if you're able to build out a larger organization, you can consider a difference. But at the beginning, I say you want that function reporting directly to your head of HR. I do think the center of expertise model works well. So having sort of a functional area that is total rewards, comp and benefits, having one that's talent related. One of the main changes that I might recommend is I think that culture and diversity and inclusion and recruiting sort of all go together. And so we've kept the diversity and inclusion function separate, but it really has the ability to make the biggest impact when it's linked to other things. Culture obviously being one where you want to create a culture of diversity and inclusion, so putting those two functions together, and then recruiting tied to that, where you can take the opportunity as you're bringing people in to the organization to have a focus on bringing a diverser group of candidates in. So that would be, some advice for the future. I have recently heard about the concept of blind interviewing as well, and I do think it's an interesting proposition, because I think we're to the point in our sort of journey of diversity where it's about micro inequities. It's no longer about overt discrimination in the same way. And so trying to help people understand their own biases and creating systems and processes where that's just off the table, I think is the next phase, and blind interviewing would play a role in that.